Today we're going to be looking at what we should do with our remainder, whether we should ignore it or whether we should round the quotient up. So this is called interpreting the remainder. We have been working with dividing, but today we're going to include story problems for our division. So if we look at the story problem of a roller coaster holds 30 people, there are 252 people waiting in line. How many times will the roller coaster need to run for all 252 people to get a ride? So the first thing we need to do is find the important information. So if we go down here, our important information is that a roller coaster can hold 30 people at a time, and there's 252 people waiting. Okay, so can we think of a division number story that would represent this story problem? Our dividend would be 252. Remember, the dividend is the amount that you are trying to divide up, divided by our divisor, which is 30, because there's 30 per group. So we can think of this using a mathematical model. So what a mathematical model is drawing out a picture. So let's say we have the first ride. That would hold 30 people. The second time the roller coaster goes through, that holds another 30 people. The third time the roller coaster goes through, that's going to hold another 30 people. The fourth time the roller coaster goes through, that will hold another 30 people. So far we have 30, 60, 90, and 120 people through. So we still have 132 people to go through our line. So let's see, we have another 30 people. So far 150 have went on the roller coaster. If we have another 30 people, that would be 180. Another 30 people, that's going to be 210. And then another 30 people, is going to be 240 people. But remember, I have 252 people. So if this is 240, that means I still have 12 people waiting online, ready to get on the ride. So this is a mathematical model for this division's number story. So we could actually think of it in partial quotients also. So if I have 252 in my dividend, I know already, based on my picture, that let's do 4 groups. If I take 4 groups of 30 out, that's 120, right? Because 4 times 3, and then add my 0, subtract those, I get 2, a 3, and then 132. So I could take 4 more groups out, which again is 120. Subtract those, and I get 12. Can I take any more groups of 30 out? I only have 12, so I can't. So 12 must be our remainder. And then as we see here, we have 8 as our quotient. So isn't that what we came up with when we did our mathematical model, the picture of the number story? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times the roller coaster had to run. But did that get all the people a ride? Because remember, the story says all people need to get a ride. So when we're thinking about the remainder, are we just ignoring the 12 people? And we're just going to say, too bad, guys, you don't fill the roller coaster, so you're not going to ride? Or are we going to round up? So ignore. Is our first option. Or round up. So instead of going 8 times, would the roller coaster have to go 9 times? If we want all the people to go through the roller coaster, what are we gonna do? Ignore or round up? Well, if we ignored, then we're not following the problem because all the people didn't get a ride. So in order for the roller coaster to get through all 252 people, we're gonna have to round our quotient up to 9. So that's how we interpret the remainder. Because we're not just going to leave 12 people standing there as we're having a great time at the amusement park.